and we're holding in Dibur HaMashkel HaMachas Ani Mi'Avraham B'Sof HaDrush Omer Tov Samach. And we want Moshiach now. I think that's about all the details I can give. Right, so we saw the amazing Chiddush here. I'm still just dumbfounded by this whole minor. It's been just such an amazing Gilui. Then we saw that Vatiyeh HaSoger B'Machus V'Atzmus Ein Tzev. That's what's going to happen, Liyosid. It's going to happen, Liyosid Loveh. B'Frat B'Tchias HaMeisim. That there's going to be a higher Inyan even than Riyah Chushiyas. That's been said. Even higher than Riyah Chushiyas. It's going to be a Soger. It's a Soger. The mentioned Masik Zayin Atzmus Ein Tzev. So, you know, that's just like Mamisha. So we have to say that the Chiddush Nifla B'zeh is that even though Riyah Chushiyas exists now, and we have Riyah Chushiyas Inyanim Ha'olam, Inyanim Ha'olam, we see the Inyan of Riyah Chushiyas is that the Etzem Ha'odam is Mishachid with the Inyan B'Evan Nifla. And if we take Riyah V'Shmiyah, then we see that the Hevdel between the two is really only in the effect that it has on the Odom, because it can be exactly the same details that he heard, B'Tachlis HaTiktuk, V'Shmiyah. And when he sees them, it's not really a Chiddush in the Etzem details. It's a Chiddush in V'Yazei, you react to the thing. It's a Chiddush V'Yazei, Nemst to the Zach, when you see it. So we have to say that that's nowadays. In Mamela, Ayinim from Riyas HaMahus exist nowadays also, but you see the Mahus of Ador Gashmi, or Ayinim Ba'olam. B'Inyan Elakush, you don't have Riyas HaMahus, we have only this Riyah Chushiyas or the Inyan from Chushiyas in the Inyan from Hasoge, the Riyas Tvorim Gashim, not Riyas HaMahus, Mamish, in Inyan Elakush. And therefore we have to say that the Chiddush of Hasoge B'Mahus V'Atzmus Ein Tzev, there will be the Tchias HaMeisim, is that the Odom Be'etzem Hogbalosei Ka'odom, even that it's never been before Tavak Kazeh, that he should be able to be Masik B'Moichoi Ainen Shel Mahus, which even in Dvarim Gashmi, he's only miskarev to the Mahus. He's not Masik Mamish to Mahus. But not only that, but he'll be Masik to Mahus in Etzem Ein Seif, how it is Mamish Mitadatzma. In other words, that Helim, or that Tshiyah of the Chisui, and the Helim will go down, and he'll make contact with the Etzem, and then he'll make contact with the Etzem Hakbola of Odom. And that will be taken into the Etzem Hagbolas Odom. In other words, that the Odom im Kol Hagbolasoi Hu, because in a way there's an old saying in Yiddish, I think it's put in Hayom Yom, that Mitzad Etzem Koyach HaSeichel Nishtokia Nidri Kezach V'Seichel. Because Seichel is a very sort of a matter of fact, sort of balabatish sort of a zach,
Yes, amazing.
Yeah. In Hayom Yom, talks about Tchias HaMeisim. In Mamela, that's in Ruchnias. Here we're talking about Poel Mamish. Mamela, the Etzem Agbola of a Mensch, באופן שמגביל אותו, ואפילו עוצר אותו מלהתקדם, ולהזדבק באמיתיוס. העניין, that's the seichel. And דווקא that seichel, it's going to be massive במחוס רצוס אין סייף ליאצת לזה. Imam the Nimtel he said that the Chiddush is that it's going to be Azar Mininim, what's never been as Azar prior to this. Yeah, and the only way you can imagine Azar Minzach is this Indian that we saw at the Hasoga Chushi is in Dvarim Gashmim that help you to understand Elakus. If you don't really understand the Elakus, you just picture through the Hasogas Agashmis that you have in the form of he Samtus, that's the way the Gashmi works. Remember, you understand Elokus. That's the only form of Hiskarvus or approximation to it that we have. What's going to be Leos Glory? Nimtzor, he said that all these amazing statements in the Gemara and everything, that the Eibushter wants to take the Adam as a shuta, and he'd be mami shuta fimoy b'maisa bereishis b'talinyonim. He's going to take the Adam kamoy shehu. Not he's going to make him another Gavra. He's going to make him another Matthias and another Nivra. Then he make him first shuta. Mamish kamoy shehu, or tasiv yeris, mit ein Asoge, mit ein nicht doch in niedrig gesagt wie Asoge in einem gewissen Prat, ich kann auf Mamish take Atzmensmol. Das ist klar. Achidisch, so ein kamoy. And Mamela nimmt that over the Inyonim, and therefore it's brought down in Ranat. Rabbi writes over there that all the Avery are goof and everything are just going to remain. All the Avery are equal and all those Inyonim. Well, we're just going to use them, Ein Achanami. Because Ein Ha'elam Habo, Ein B'Eloi Achila, V'Eloi Shasiyah, Ezot the Gemara and Brachas. You're not going to be eating anything, you're not going to be drinking anything. We start to the Al Inyonim. Das ist der Pshat, die Odom Mamish Kamoy Shehu. Der Odom mit all of his Eivorim, Mugbolim, V'chumriyim, and I say, they're all going to stay. And they're all going to be Mistabik, Mamish, and Kolatz Moisai, Toimana, is going to be good of another. But the Etzim Gashmiyas, V'chumriyas, is going to be Nepach to a movement that it's even going to be Mashpiyah to the Neshama. That the neshama is going to come running to be makabel from all this. From that, how they call it, what the Frierdiker Rebbe calls it in Harsicha. There's the soup pot. There's a pot of soup with bones and soup. What he calls it over there, soup. The blood is like soup. The bones is the bones. Well, that soup pot, or that liosi, it's going to be massive. Atzmensumahus. And the Neshama is going to come running to listen to what it has to say. Aber give a quick what there state. I mean, it's mamish a pele. So he says, Yisalu betchias hameisim, shetia asoge b'chinas mavus v'atzmas ein say. V'zehu, ein deima l'cho mami, ein deima l'cho. How do we say in the prayers on Shabbos? Ein arek l'cho sheveil mazayin, zuloscho malkein l'chayel mabo, efes bilt l'cho, v'moisho Mashiach, v'ein deima l'cho, v'moishienu l'schias ha'meisim. He says the last fall is going on Tchias ha'meisim, ayem v'tayin l'cho, ein deima l'cho. In other words, the other one say in a reich l'chor. It also says l'chor. But this is talking about ein deima l'chor mami. In other words, to atzmus ein teim. We have to say that prayer im came b'fizeh kunteis. It wasn't pshat ein deima l'chor moishien l'schir samesim. Where the pshat is there? So we have to say that prayer is not so much talking about what we are saying to the Eibushter, but that prayer is talking about what Eibushter is going to give us b'chol shlam. And it was in a reich l'chor, that's going to become ours v'elam hazeh. That could be even in elam hazeh. Ve'ein zuloscho or ein zuloscho v'elam habo. In other words, what will you have v'elam habo? You will have ein zuloscho. In other words, that will be by you what you experience. As he stated in Damsha, we learned a long time ago, I don't know if you guys even remember, we learned about Ein Zlos Achman. And that's in Gan Eden. That's the Asogin Gan Eden. F is built Rechol, this is the Yemoiso Mashiach. That's the Asogin Yemoiso Mashiach. Yeah, what does it attach? F is built Rechol, it attach Afira mit, Afira mit the Atzmas, Ein Zev, Afu Pikein. There's an F is built up. Even if we say the Atzmas made the yes, Afu Pikein the yes is completely bottled to him, and Ein Deima L'chol, it attach that not that the yes is going to be bottled. The Esh is going to be a entity. It's going to be a Matthias. And after we became, it'll be able to say, oh yes, Eivishter, Shalom Aleichem. Yeah, Atzmus Eitzei. And remember to come to is that each Slav is talking about what we're going to be Makabel. Not that we're saying to the Eivishter, we're always saying to the Eivishter what he's going to give us. And remember, Liyosid Lovei, we're going to be Ayesh. We're going to be, because you can't have a soga, but it has to be something that's massive. You can't have a Efes what's massive. Efes goes massive. Something has to be massive. So we have to say that even if an Efes built a chor, or that's talking about the beetle, or that'll be maybe be a Moshe Mashiach. When jemand doing sein Ois Matthias, it could be the avodah to keep a Makabel Mashiach, it's just completely Ois Matthias. You don't exist and there's nothing else but Rakhu. Oh, but by Tchias HaMeisim, he's bringing you back again. He's making you all over again. Which was he making us all over again? Oh, he wants you to be there. And I was once Medayik, I could give him a drosheli and a kinester for Maima in the Mittler Rebbe in Vaikra. The dort steht da a ganze Kette where he says Tchias HaMeisim. And the movement over there is that after Tchias HaMeisim there'll have to be a Matthias. Now there Matthias will try the Rebishter's brother he will be mamish his things, and we'll be together with him. We'll be mamish Asaviyah. It's you're going to find that written right here now. Just take a look now, and you'll see that he's going to have the Nivroim together with him. Kilo, those Nivroim are going to be Asaviyah. וזהו אין דם לכל דם לכל ממש, וידוע, תעסוק ובחינס יש. It's all about bluffing here. In other words, a soga means it has to be somebody that understands. Yesh Misha Masa. Like Misha Kosu, Lahantil Oyhavai Yesh. Yeah, in other words, that's a posik legabe the Asoga in Gan Eden, the Amasis. Und das ist a posik in Mishlei, yeah, where it talks about the Chochma Satira. And Chochma says, yeah, Ani Bina Li Gvura, Ani Zev, Ani something else. And so then it's written, yeah, Lahanchil Oy Hava Yesh, Ichal was to give mine Oy of him. Yeah, in other words, and that's what the Mishnah brings right at the end. Right at the end of the Seder Mishnah is that Asher HaKadosh Baruch Hu Lahanchil Kol Tzadik V'Tzadik Shai Yoilamas Shenemar Lahanchil Oy Hava Yesh. And Yesh is Shinyud. Yesh Shinyud Oilamas. Aber zet me van dem dat Chochmas HaTorah, whereas Kutshe Brichu Kula Chad, well, they say to the Adam that Chochmas talking over there, and it says, I've got what to give, yeah, my Oy Havim, yeah, die was mamish and Dovik in me, or I've got to give it in Oivan of Yesh. The ultimate Nachla will be Yesh. And dort the Ebenezer says that's referring to Oilam HaNitzchi. Is that the Ebenezer? That's referring to Oilam HaNitzchi. You remember, Oilam HaNitzchi is the Tchias HaMeisim. That's the Oilam HaNitzchi. And I'm going to give them, those who've been dovuk in me, in Chochmas HaTorah, I'm going to give them Yesh. It's going to be a Matthias Dover. They're going to be, and they're going to have something to take. I'm going to give them. And Hine says the Rebbe Liyosi, Tia B'chinas Yesh, or Amiti, the B'chinas Atzmas Ein Sei. He said, Liyosi, there's going to be, the Yesh or Amiti, the B'chinas Atzmas Ein Sei. All right? Yeah, so you might say, well, that's the Yesh or Amiti of the Atzmas. What were you having a China that it's going to be the Yesh or Amiti from the Nivra also? So take a look. Yesh Loima, the Ria Hi B'chinas Ayin Amiti. Vasoga B'chinas Yeshua Amiti. So he says Yesh Loima. I know what's going to be Ria Choshiyas. Yeah, Ria Choshiyas is small chain. Ria Choshiyas is not going to be the Amitias Ayin. Or what's that going to be? He says Ria Choshiyas, he Not he be b'chinas, that the Ria is going to be in something, nor the Ria Chushis is going to be b'chinas Aina Amiti. In other words, if you have Ria Chushis, then you being as a oifen, you being alive of Ayin Amiti. Do the sign Ayin Amiti. V'asoge b'chinas, but if you have a soge in Mahus v'atmas ein seif, b'chinas Yeshu Amiti, you're going to be picked to say for the Yeshu Amiti. Look careful. He doesn't say b'chinas that the Ria will be in that level, or the Asoga will be in that level. He doesn't need to tell me that. Er schenkt gesagt this 3 times already. That the Asoga is going to be a Mahus v'atmas ein seif. And therefore he says we're talking here. Pick to see that tefillah. Ein Deimelcha. That's talking about what we're going to give the Nevroim. What are they going to have from the ganze Reisig? So he said they're going to have from the ganze Reisig that those who have Ria, in other words, what you might call the Balabatis of Misnagdim. So nicht gewollt zu viel gehen. Yeah, they'll have Ria. Yeah. Ria Chushi is, and they'll be as if the Ayin Amiti. They will feel the Indian a bittel. But the Chassidim have already left the bittel behind. A long time ago. But he said, if you have a Asoge, he said, then you will be picked as if the Yeshamit. Do a sign in them even with the Yeshamit. In other words, Shutef Ima is bar. Yeah, וגם בחינס ריח חושיש in Belial, יש למה שתהיה בתחייס המזן דווקא. יש למה, that ריח חושיש, which is, it's not as high as the union of Hasoge, that it'll also be in the union of Tchias HaMeitzim. In other words, not everything is going to make it into that Madrege. Not everything's going to be able to hold out in that Madrege. But he said, that ריח חושיש, or the real Chushis Ein Lechanamit, that will be also in Tchias HaMeitzim. You follow? But that's already that's already another Inyan. He's talking about the Etzem Ria itself, Bifnei Atzmo. When is that going to be? That will be in Tchias HaMeitzim. Or in the brackets Fadem, he was telling you what is the level at the Makabel who's Makabel Azayine. Beich hu yeh. Mit is Movan. Dus daar mijn van de Rebbe Nishma Seiden, but hoe is het in Ayin Tes? Like Bremer. But dort zegt de Rebbe that the Yosid Love, the Yesh, will be b'chinas Yeshu Amiti. But the Yesh Akashmi, mit onzen in hem, the inner van the Yeshu Amiti. In other words, that you nowadays, you draw yourself around of Tzveifis. What are you really? What in Emerson holds you and makes you what you are? Nee. Everybody answer in a chorus. What holds you and makes you what you are? In the Rule Vade, the Koeche V'Yochelte, Lahavis es a Yesh mi Ayin Samucho. In you is the Yesh Amit. So what is holding you, or what makes you a Yesh? Das ist der Menit wie der Koeche Atzmisman. And he's in you. Das was halt here. And the fire you go around and and really you are a representative and how do you call it, an Aufspiegelnisch, whatever you like to call it in Yiddish, of the Yesh Amiti. Zema Shatah. The Yosid Love, but Tchias HaMeitzim, that's going to be Begola. And it's going to zen in the Yesh Amiti. And Mamera Dev says, Min Motzas Minoi. You're going to be the Yesh Amiti. And Mamera, Davki in that even how you're a Yesh. Lahanchil Oi Hava Yesh. Davki in that even how you're a Yesh. You're going to say, oh, Hina Elokeinu. Nicht wie in Yemoshe Mashiach. In Tchias HaMeitzim, it'll be by even Koseh. And Mamera, the Yesh Hamiti from beide, from twee Akitzovets. There's the Yeshu Hamiti that's always been there, and there's been them little Yeshu Hamiti, and they will meet one the other on their own grounds. And what is the union for their own grounds by Yesh? Hasogi. And if you look up in Tanya at the end of Perek Dalet, wasn't the Alter Rebbe? The Alter Rebbe says, oh, there ain't Tainug, Yesh Nivra, El B'Maisha Masik. That's going to be the fulfillment that you give the Yesh, because the only thing that a Yesh can really have any tainuk from is what he's masik. Und die gibst ihm etwas massig sein, oh, dann ist gar Teiner. Also hat nicht getan. Because anything else is nicht there. Anything else is not here. I feel the real Chushi is, das ist euch nicht there. Das ist, I mean, so, it's always been there that you better take a bit of Mahus mit damit. Aber die Etzemine, what a Mensch ist sein kleiner Keppel. And he calls sein kleiner Seichel. And I'm really Yosid, that's going to be the Yesh Amiti, and those two Yesh Amitis, they're going to meet together. Das, so much Katupo. And I'm really said that Rebbe Kol Zeh, who are the how are you going to reach those Amitzot Meisen? And that brackets, I reckon you could print that in the streets, and the Mishnah walk out that have Kalim, but that's going to bring Moshiach. Ja, Yesh Limit, the Ria, Ibchinas Ayin Amiti, was Soge, it is Yesh Amiti. The Asog itself is Yesh Amit. Not be Yesh Amit. Now you as a Koyach Lahasik, you're going to be the Yesh Amit. And Mamela says, Kozu hu alidei avedu di achshov, bechinas hahelem, de mipsore echse. Bechinas asog chushi sanal. Now, let's got two inyanim in it. First of all, we saw that it was inyan that you had to battle with the Helem. So what was the Helem? So the Helem is not a Helem. As we saw the whole time, the Helem is not a Helem. Because normally Helem is that there are two Sachen. There's the Dover HaGavoya, HaNiflo, and it becomes Ne'elam, Alidei Levush, or Alidover HaMali Molo. But this type of Helem that we're talking about is where the Etzem itself is meant in Atzir that you don't see it. There's no Dover HaMali. That's really what it is. You just, mit dieser Time, der Eibsche los nicht, du sollst, it sort of appears to you in Atzir was a Nidor. So all you're going to do is just work through, and you just got to make yourself an Azayim that you do understand something, or you do see something, or if you see something, then you'll be given the whole lot. What do you see? Mataroeh. He said, you see, mipsore exela. Elakawa, that's what he told us before, that you can see certain inyonim in the Dova Gashmi, in the Gufa Gashmi, and that you do see Bari'iyah. The Hasoga you don't see, but those things you do see, and they are ma'amesh the Hasoga. They bring the Hasoga to an emes, yeah? And through that is the awakening and the Orion fall, as you might call it, which takes you into the inyan of Riyah Chushiyas, like he said, over there Riyah Chushiyas is mitzad the nefesh keys. Yossi, that's going to be in even that the etzem guf, yeah, Soga is going to be Yeshua Amiti, and that's going to be in etzem mahus ein say. So therefore he said that's through the Aveda Da'aksho b'chinas hahelem. Why is it called helem? Because that's the helem ha'atzmi. This is the helem of the atzimus alein, the mipsari ekse. But how can you deal with that helem? Through the inen of beginners hasoge chushi. Not real chushi, but like we saw before, hasoge chushi. Ali dezeh hi eliosid beginners amei hasoge samahus mami. That you will be in a zamatroige hasoge samahus. So now we understand why we say that Chochmas Timor is Ika Mamutza. So we sort of, the Mamutza has to have just one Bechina, not two levels. The two inyonim that we saw, that's not an emes of Mamutza. So we saw that in Chochmas Timor you've got the Pnimius. The Atzmis of Chochmas Timor is Atik, and it has a Zamin Sot Tziyur. It's got a Zamin Sot Kuk that looks Lamata in a Zaivim Kibbutz Nota. So those are the two Tztadim of the Mamutza, but the Etzem Mamutza is one inyan, the Ein of Chochmas Timor. Who Aika Mamutza Shali, they say, Yochel is Chibu Aner Tzolim, via Nishometz, Im Hamaitzu Baruchu. Yochelim Lo El Bechina El Yoina Sheba Mamutza. Through that we can come to the Bechina El Yoina in the Mamutza. And through that, here we come to by not taking the Yinan, and remember, it's very good. I mean, the Rebbe says, open your eyes. You know, what is it that takes to open your eyes? Because it's really looking at you, the whole thing. Ayin ba'ayin. The whole thing is looking at you. He made it appear in such a way that it doesn't sort of look at you for what it really is. And what he wants you to do is not take that for granted. He wants you to work at that, and you'll see through that, and then you'll see, the pashtus, you'll see alei inyonim. And then your neshama will start seeing mamish inyonei amalus, and then you'll just be saying, oh, here we are, Beis HaMikdash, here we are, Moshiach, Shalom Aleichem. As he stated, כך כתוב פה. המאמר קונטרס, the whole golus is not a lavush. The whole golus is me'anit, he is playing, how do you call it? He's playing like faces with you. That's what the Baal Shem Tov said. The famous words in the Baal Shem Tov is that it's like a circus game. You go around one part of the Omud and you see a beautiful thing. You walk the other part of the Omud, what they call it, a spindle trap. When you go up the trap, I remember when we were kids, Havdil in the circus used to go in. You go up this sort of, you stood like inside of a. And when you get up onto the first levels, you see this unbelievable, pictures with all sorts of glass things, or trains of chalum, and all sorts of amazing about it. And I say, no, you're not supposed to stay here. You go up, you walk around like the pole. You walk around the central pole. All of a sudden, you come to this terrible darkness, and it's like a circus darkness. And everything, all the kids are shrieking, and everybody saying, no. So that's what it's like. It's just the darkness, just a question of drain the chalum, the amud. If you just drain back again, you see the amud. That's what the Baal Shem Tov said. He said that the whole thing is a spindle trap. He said, that's an akuda that we're facing. And that's what the Rebbe keeps saying. Just open your eyes and look into. Don't take the golus as an entity anymore. Just look. It's unbelievable. If we could just somehow or another get people to realize that, to get to work at it, got to make people realize, the golus is not a matzia. It's not really anything.
I'm trying to realize it myself.
You're trying to work on yourself, yeah. I agree with you. So you don't have any time for anybody else.
Oh.
I agree with you. Oh, we've got to do something. The Rebbe said we can't wait until we all get it worked out for ourselves. We've got to start telling other people. It's an amazing thing. On Bedur State, that's what's written. And it's written over there in that Maimonai and Tess, that Liosid Lovei, the Yesh will be the Yesh Amit. And what Liosid Lovei, everybody's going to come running to you. All the ganze Brie, mit alle Malochim, mit alle Sachen, mit alle Goyim, mit alle Opamas and Shmopamas, Yemach Shemom, and the ganze, they're all going to come running to you. And they're going to say, here's a Chayan, give us something, do it, because you are going to be the Yesh Amit. Amen. So they'll say, oh, you can see everything. You say, no, I don't need to see it. You verstehe das. Philip says, Al Pia now, Al Pia now, Yuvan Mashkosu, Hashem Oma.
But if that's the case, why should it be so we have to open our eyes? We have to open our minds.
Yeah, open our eyes is already just one slot. So I suppose you could say the Rebbe's going, step by step. Open your eyes and shout to Moshiach. This is going to be it's amazing. let's get one thing worked out first. Al pi now Yuvan Mashikosu ve'Hashem Omar Habachasa ani mi Abraham, and then the pasuk said Asher ani oiseh, what I'm about to do. The kavana sheyeh his galus bechinas hakisu v'ahera. So that's already a little bit of a sort of a terrence to the shara, because the shara was that Asiya is a Isgalus Namucha. How do you call it? Asiya is just a Isgalus Peshuta. So we come to Sasher Ani Oseh to Machasa Ani Me'av מאברהם. So therefore said the Rebbe, אין החנמי, אשר אני עושה is Isgalus. But it's going to be a Isgalus in the Elam Tachtin, in the Elam Bapashtas, of the Kisui itself, of Amachasa Ani. וזהו אשר אני עושה, דהנה עשייה אם יש איזה גילוי, he said, היינו רק Isgalus הדובר. The infant Asiya is only as galus of the Indian, which whatever it is, it's doing, it's kilo ala shlav in that Indian nafshi. How is it be'etzem? How is it b'chinas helem legamrei? But the truth of the matter is that Asiya is a infant helem, because when you do something, or it's malim of all the koiches alienim which were gradually nishtaushu from the seichel akiyelin all the way down into the Asiya. Sheharei ba'asiya ein b'zeh shum gilui hu b'chinas helem atzmi. That's a very interesting thing. The Rebbe is mafarish that Asiya has got this type of union to it, what we saw in the Atzmus, that the Atzmus in Pnimis Atik is malim himself just in the form of Atziyo Bilvad. It's not really a Emes a Helem, no, it's a Helem, how the Atzmi is just by definition not there Begoloi. And so the same thing with the Inif and Asiya, that he says that the Helem which is there in Asiya is really matim to our Nimshol, Lamaila, because the Helem in Asiya is only a Helem Atzmi. V'sheresh adovo hu b'chinas stimus ha'atzmi, ha'atzmi is chochmas temoah, but b'chinas helem ha'atzmi da'in seif kanal. That's only the nimshal. That's only in the nimshal. So what is the moshel from Asiya? So it's for you, v'mazocht, that there's, nowadays they call it, there's what they call, how do they say, body language. I weiß was Serufen does. That sometimes you can talk to people and give them over the most profound sort of messages, they say just by the way you move, or you move your hand, or you move your face or something. Have you heard about it? Huh? Yeah, that's a slightly different Indian. That's what he's talking about. A hoiche Indian and seichel you can give to someone. You were talking about Indian atzmi, mom. The very etzem the man can give himself over. And that's the Indian. That there's an old saying, I once heard it from einer from the Chassidim here in Krachabad. There's an old saying that be'apom hargu ish. It's written that in the brachas of Yaakov Avinu when he wasn't so pleased with Shimon and Levi, and in the brachas of Yaakov Avinu, that he's a bit sort of sharp with Shimon and Levi, and he says, "Be'kvoidem al teichat kvoidi." My coach shouldn't be mishyached with them. Ki be'apom harguish, in the anger they killed men. So the Chassidim flag them all touch, and af means a nose. Af can mean a nose. So sometimes you're sitting with somebody, he mentions to you somebody, and you just go, oh, him. You understand? So I remember I once heard from Leiner from the Alter Chassidim during Krachabad, he said, that is the most dangerous thing. That is the most terrible thing, that if you just hear about something, somebody's sitting with you, you just go like that with your nose. He said, but he said, this person that saw your nose go like that, you'll never be able to have anything to do with that guy. You know, oh, Pliny showed me that there's something really possible and terrible about that guy. He said, you've been shoyler the Matthias from their mensch, be'apom harguish. Have to be very careful. Be'apom harguish. Unfortunately, nowadays it's a very double. Let's not talk too much.
Is it din by the Chofetz Chaim? The Chofetz Chaim has a din in Hilchos.
He probably talks about that.
That you hear someone say when you do like this, you turn your eyes.
Yeah. You got to be very careful. Over here's the from Ba'apom Hargush. I say, I'll be careful now. You know who I heard it from? It's given an altar Rav though. When I first came to Krachabad, he was the deputy Rav. I don't think you met him. He'd already passed away by the time you came to Krachabad. That guy's in Rav.
Really?
What was her name? There's two brothers in Bnei Brak now. I just can't think of his name now. Terrible, I can't remember names. But he was an amazing person. He was, he's the one I told you that he had the two fingers that never came back. He made a hantele to get out of the army. The Rebbe Rashab told him to make a hantele to get out of the army, and they went to this mumcha that always made it in such a way that the fingers would always come back. And by him it never came back. They said, he remained like that, the two fingers stuck together. Glasman, that was it. Glasman. Glasman. Yeah, Glasman was his name. Yeah, I love Glasman. So he was a man who considered he had a role of a Poisika, Gewalt. Was he given with him? And I remember he told me that. He said that the Chassidim playing son, out from Hargu each. Huh? No, he was in Kwachabat. He was the deputy Rov. He had two sons that they lived in Kwachabat, in Bnei Brak. Sholem Ber Glasman. But he was here in Kwachabat, and when the old Rav Schneer, was away or he couldn't paskin for some reason, he used to paskin the Shiloh, this Rav Glasman. So when I first came to Kwachabat, he was still alive. I went in to see him because he was Rav Zalman, my mashpia. He was an uncle. They were related by some sort of some sort of hook in the mishpah, and they were related. So I went in to give him a greeting, and he was very makarim. I had a whole tour with him, and then I went back to see him a couple of times. Yeah. Okay, so that's the Inyan that we see, that the Inyan from Asiyo is a Inyan from Helem Ha'atzmi. In other words, that Asiyo can be a Zamin Koyach, where it just sort of brings the etem into play. And that's what we say, that the Inyan, the way you do things, well, that says a whole lot about you, Therefore, people say they just saw the Rebbe hold his lulav, that was enough for them, The Inyan from Asiyo is a language of the etem. It mamish expresses the helem of the etem. V'shoyro shadov, higol l'mayla, hu m'chinas ha'stimus ha'atzmi, da'atzmis chochmas timor, hu m'chinas helem ha'atzmi da'ein seiv. Yeah, and that's the very helem ha'atzmi of ein seiv. That's the two inyonim in chochmas timor. One of them, the inyan from stimus afilo l'gabi chochma ha'gluya, and the other is that it's mishyachid mamish with pnimius ati. So he says, "Ve'al ze oma hamachase ani, she's galeh b'chinas hakisui hazeh hamachase ani, ani beweist auf der Mensch gemoizu hu. Hamachase ani me Avraham asher ani oi se. In other words, it's going to come out by his galas, but pshitas, through the medium of his galas ha'atzmi, which is Asiyah. I remember Peridike Tait. If you read the pasuk in Pashtus, it's very difficult to get that out of Pshat. So he said, why Davka Avram Avinu? He says, Dehine Avram Ubchinas Giloi Akav. It's well known. Avram Avinu is the Giloi Akav. Keneida Mimashu Kozu Mi Heir Mi Mizrach. Well, that's the pasuk in Yeshaya Novi in Perik Memalef Tuchtzach, where he talks about that. He's going to come to all the Goyim, and he's going to visit them, and he's going to say to the Goyim, Mi Hayir Mi Mizrach, who literally woke up from the east. So he says, Al Tikra Ha'ir Ela Ho'ir. Mi Ho'ir Mi Mizrach, who brought all the light from the east side. That was Avroma. That's Avroma Avinu, and he's the Inyan of the Kav. And the Kav is called Mi Mizrach, because that's Lashon Zricha, that the Kav is Meir immediately behemshik to the Tzimtzum. In other words, you have the Choshech at Tzimtzum, and then you have the Gilui at the Kav, and therefore it's called Mi Ho'ir, mit the Aleph, Mi Mizrach. O Pirish HaMachase Ani Me Avram, Hainu Shebe'akav, Yeh Gilui B'chinas HaHelem HaAtzmi Da'ein. So, in other words, pink verkehrt, not on, can I do it? But there's no way it's going to be done on pink clay. It's going to be, the Inyan from Kisui Begolui, Hamachase Ani Me Avram. V'zehu gam kein Inyan Seid Hashem L'rei L'Yareo. We brought in the at the beginning of the minor, the Reb Bora Medrash, that he said that this in from Amachas Animi Avrom, the Medrash brought on at the Pasik, Seid Hashem L'rei Yireyov. So he said, Seid Hashem, Ainu B'chinas Helem Ha-Atzmi. Yeah, in other words, the very Helem Atzmi of Atzmi Saint Say, Pnimius Atik. I'm as Kosu Bedrush Yontav Shal Rosh Hashanah Reish Samavov, Be'inyan Ve'emes Havaya. 1 second, we'll also mention that. Shazo Be'emes Seid Sosum V'chosum Be'etzem. At the Helem of the Atzmi is a Seid Chosum V'sosum. Because that's the touch, the Helem of the Etzem. In other words, the way the Etzem doesn't allow himself to be Begoloi. Avraham, shehu b'chinas hagilui kanal, shehu b'chinas erakav, yizgale boy b'chinas seid Hashem anal. In other words, that in the kav is going to be mizgale, the seid Hashem hanal, and that's what he brings over there in the whole Arichis in Reish Hamavav. That's starts in Pasha B'chukoisai in the first Hemshech. Or over there he touches a posik emes havaya li olam, and he said you can't just say that which is now behelim is going to be miskala, because he said that's really the emes of the Shem Elokim, not the Shem Havaya, because the Shem Elokim mailim not the Shem Havaya. So what is the emes havaya li olam? Those titles the ine van de ein seifel mailim ya olam is like army the ine van das elin and in das elin gufer the ine van atzm say that's going to be meir lamata in the world. And how's that going to go? Through the union of the kav. In other words, that the kav is going to be a kli to be makabel of the emes havaya, the meatiest union from the Shem Havaya, and it's going to bring it down into a union from oilom. So that's the same union here. He's galeb b'chinas seid Hashem hanal, v'zeh b'chinas pnimius hakav. Well, that's really the pnimius hakavona in the kav. In other words, the mashakos of mi mizrach ze b'chinas pnimius hakav. O Canada, the chitzenius hakav shoy mi b'chinas malchus say. O pnimius hakav hu mi b'chinas tiferes hanela. Shezo in mizrach. O chameshkos of mokim acher. In other words, the Avraham Avinu, he is the pnimius of the kav. And that in from mi hayir mi mizrach, or is it the pshat that mizrach is the pnimis of the kav, tiferes hanela, or that's going to be meir in the kav, and that's going to be brought by the kav begoloi into oilo. And that's what we see. It's mavur b'havi makemis. And so that the whole inen at the kav is an amazing thing, because and here we see mamish apela. Almost we're just 1 week ahead of ourselves, but in almost every evening what we learn here, we meet up with something in the Parshas Hashavua. So in Likutei Torah, in Parsha Koirach, not in Parsha Shlach, but it could be somewhere in Parsha Shlach. It's also written. In Likutei Torah, at the beginning of Parsha Koirach, but Koirach and Shlach have a kesher. You know they're going to say what's a kesher. Is the Alter Rebbe dort Mavaya, that in Emerson all the makifim and all the inyoni ha'ilyanim are also nimshach halidei kav. That once the kav started, then everything is nimshach halidei kav. Because bepnimius inyoni, the kav does it the tachlis kol ha'inyon. And therefore he brings over there the lotion in the Kisvei Arizal that the kav is nimshach u'misagel. Nimshach u'misagel. But he said the kav is not just a straight line, kav yochel. Well, the kav goes a little bit and then it forms a makif or igul, and it goes again and forms another igul. He stated in Likutei Torah, nimshach u'misagel, nimshach u'misagel. So he said, for what's up is misagel? He said, because the makifim are also nimshach alidei kav. And why is it straight at the beginning? Because first of all, there's a certain, what does it mean from ak? There's a certain yoisher, and then in each oilam there are makifim gedolim, which are shy to that particular. They come to the kav. So the Alter Rebbe said, why should they come to the kav? They're l'mayla me'akav and they're chutz me'akav. For what's going they do kav? So he says to be part of the kav, the kavona amitis, does it the tachlis. Therefore everything is nimshach alidei הכל נמשך על ידי הקו. So what's the beer with it? What's the word? Of mine nine word. The word is Aliyosid Lovei. Once again, it's not a touch that there's going to be just a oilam on Nivroim and on Hakbola and on all the Inyonim. Like we saw Dafka the other Magashmi with the Moyach Hagashmi, he's going to be mass again. Ain't safe. Amamera Liyosid at the Pnimis Atzmas at the Eberster, or that Pnimis of Mahusa ain't safe, that's going to be Meir Dafki Derek the Kav. Dafki in the Kav is going to be Meir. Dafki in the Pnimi, what time the nicht in der Machi. Der Machi will be a weiß Wort. Aber was it Meir sein? Liosid, het zijn de Pnimi, and the Pnimi wird sein, hat man sein, ain't say. En de vraag die ik van alle Inyonim is de Kav, niet de Makifim. Makifim, the Makifim have to come through the Kav. They have to go through the guidance of the Kav, and he also says to Makifim. Amamiris, those are the Nakuda, what the Rebbe says here, that the Pnimis of the Kav is go from Tiferes ad Ne'elam. What Tiferes means, Bilti Mugbu Klauna, the Pnimis v'Atzmis of the Ein Seif, even higher than the earth. It was Chal by a Tzimtzum with the ganze Arichas Ainen. Tiferes Kiyadua is always the Ine van Ein Seif in the Ein Seif Mamish. Amir said the Shursh of the Kav is in the Tachlis HaKavona, and in the Kav, Bepinimiuse Al Kaponim is Meir, and can be Meir, the Amitius are Atzmus Ein Seif. Therefore he says, all this Indian that we're talking about here, that the Indian Atzmus Mahus, which is going to be Miskala Liosid, it's all going to come through the Kav. And Amir, he said, that's the Indian for me, Ho'ir mi, Ho'ir mi Mizrach, that through Avraham Avinu, as a beginning, there's eventually going to be the Gila of Atzmus in the Kav. So, Gamke Masha Omer, Bamedrash Rabbah, Oelakim Nosan es Ha'olam Li'abra, Hom Shaniten Loi Ha'helem. Because we asked the Kasha over at the beginning of the mind, what's it the Chiddush? It's written, V'oretz Nosan Livnei Adam, that anyway the whole meaning of the Oretz was given to Nivroim. What's Nosan Livnei Adam? It wasn't the Chiddush from Avraham that he's killed Goti. Oilom? Taitz the Rebbe, no. Not if Shatat Nosan Li'Avraham as Oilom. That's a Nishka Chiddush. No, Nosan Li'Avraham es a Helem, or the Helem Ha'atzmi, or that Shiur on the Atzmus ain't safe, that he gave to Avraham. Avraham's the beginning of the whole thing. Who's it? No, the Pshat is a Tafki Avraham, that he made the start, and in him is Nimtza, or the ganze Linie from the Pnimis HaKav, the ultimate Kavona of the Kav, or that's going to be Meir all the way down through history, bis time the Indian Liosid, at the whole world, at the Helem, Achmi of the Atzmas, is going to be Miskala Dafka Alidei HaKav. Ve'ein ze ma shekoser v'oretz nosan livnei Adam. Da'ainu levarei birurim milmata l'mayla. That's another reason we were given the orders in order to carry out birurim. O ma she'omar ha'elakim nosan es ha'ilom hainu b'chinas helem o atzmi. V'alidei ha'birurim d'lo milmata l'mayla gam kein megiyim l'b'chinas helem o atzmi kanal. Ein l'chanami emes. Through the inyan from birurim, you can come to that inyan. But he said, by Avraham Avinu, ho yezeh alidei nisyoines. By Avraham Avinu is given through the infinite nisyoines. In other words, that later on in history it became birurim. Or maybe we'd say it became both. It became both nisyoines and birurim. And by Avraham Avinu, it was beika, being as he was, koydem matan Torah. And therefore for him to kilo, be poil at that aliyah, then that was alidei din from Nisyoina. So commissions borli op soperik reish kof bais, being in lechlecho me'atzecho, me b'chinas hachumias u'bechoyach oyer choizer. I don't know if you remember, we had over there the whole Indian, the Keteros of Yom HaKippurim, which in Yoni was tshuva, of a tshuva ilo dafke, and therefore he's medama the whole Indian from the avodah of Avraham Avinu to avodas hatshuva. But he said that the avodas hatshuva of Avraham Avinu was beike in nisyonos, and the Indian from the nisyonos is a helem where a man has to break through, or the ali inyonim kilo bli lintois yeminu smoyer and bekoyach atzmi Nekoach the Atzmis HaNeshama v'chulu. Well, that's the Indian of Nisyonos. So we see that Tshuva and Nisyonos have a certain Shayras at the end of it. So we can say that this last generation, this last few hours before Mashiach, then there's been a very good platform of those Nisyonos. And so the Eibster Zicha, some people say that you don't have to pray to the Eibster because you want him to give something. You have to pray to him because he wants you to pray to him. That's all. He doesn't care what you say, you just got to pray to him. And if you pray to him, then he'll anyway give you whatever it's supposed to be. So we got to have both things. We're going to pray to the Eibster, we want to wait, it'll be good for us. And we'll also say, but listen, we're praying. We are doing what you really want. But we're doing what you really want. We should pray to you, but you don't get the point, you guys.
Mashiach now.
Yeah. And if is v'chumiyot b'bchinas ha'choizer. Al yidei zeh ha'machase ani, that the machase becomes ani. Yes, shenizgal aloi b'chinas ha'helem ha'atzmi. Oh, you shouldn't think that's such a big deal. The helem ha'atzmi is really him, like we sing the whole way. V'zeh shekosav ha'chagav v'avrom hoya yi el goy godel v'otzum. Shall yidei izgal b'chinas helem ha'atzmi tia ispashtes b'chinas riboy adain. Ein Shia. In other words, our Rome started off as Amin Zach, but it's just running and running and running. All the generations are huge, unbelievable. It's pashta. It's just getting bigger and bigger.
Sounds like the atomic bomb.
Huh?
Sounds like the atomic bomb.
Shavin Pan?
The atomic bomb, the Giluya Helem Atzmi, Ishpashtus.
Yeah. If you get to the Helem Atzmi, it just goes without end. And that's what, therefore it's brought down over there in the Rambam. It's put in the Rambam that Avram Avinu, as he stated, that Eiton Zeh, the Rambam calls Avram Avinu Eison Zeh. They're Eison. He said, V'diber im asoris alfei b'nei Odom. As he stated, Avram Avinu spoke with tens of thousands, as he stated in Rambam. He spoke with tens of thousands of people. If he had to get up and send like a thousand to me, he didn't have computers, he didn't have emails, he didn't have the whole management, the guns. How did he do it? This is the pshat. Well, the day which he come in the etzim, when he come in hamachasani, in the machas becomes ani, it just goes out with an unbelievable koyach. Avram Avinu just said one word, just came over. People say, ooh, der Avram, what hat gesagt to say? And I said, ooh, der Avram, yeah, gesagt, I say. And the same thing we see that the Rebbe sat in Brooklyn. He hardly moved from he used to walk along along Eastern Parkway and turn into Brooklyn Avenue and walk into Chashkleis. That was his whole maslul for tens of years. The Rebbe never went anywhere. Kaunish gegangen. God, sat in a little office. It was very unmodern, didn't have any computers, didn't have an old broken telephone. A clock that was an old sort of a clock. And one of these old sort of, receiver type. And they do it, and the clock, was an old clock. The label once when I bought the Rebbe a new clock and put it on his table. You know the one. There was what happened to my clock. I thought that it was time we got a new one. That was long. You better bring back my clock. Raffle became all over the world. People saying that the Rebbe does. But we have to be careful that the Chabadniks should say. They should say what the Rebbe said. Het is wat je begint ribbel alleen shiur of je door begint aan toe gaat verloor begoespan. If you come to the embassy gaat, if you reach the immediate sayichu the atzmi verloor begoespan. This goes without end, without stop. You just touch off a process that has no end. Commissioner Barlet Jeremiah Marish Shadaim Pinimis Yesa boy he's gotta be Yesa. Negotiating on the day he's gotta atzmi. Yeah, Gilly Beribu Yadein Kates Sure, the Yosef Love, it's just going to be וזהו שעל ידי המחסה אני, המחסה becomes אני, על ידי זה, ואברום יהיה לגוי גודל ויעצו. וכמו ויעצמו במעיד מה? עיד, like it was in מצרים. והיינו שעל ידי סגלוס העצמס יהיה פשטס גודל ויעצו מעיד, וזהו השם אמר מחסה אני מאברום, שהוא מבחינת כאילו הקו, יש גל מבחינת סטימוס העצמי דחוכמה סתימור, מבחינת הלם העצמי דאמצעים, אומר אברהם, הוי יהיה לגוי גודל, שעל ידי הסגלס, ההלם העצמי יסגלס מבחינת ריבוי עד אין שיר, וזהו הוי יהיה לגוי גודל ועצום. Thank you, my gentlemen. Have a good night.